The Dick Allgire does it again. What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, let me show you something. Trump interview. Sitting. Mics. Laughter. Funny. Exploring. Whatever. Unscripted. Daring. Risque. Undecided. There's Trump and there's a radio host. I wonder which radio host they foresaw. Things that we talked about. UFOs. Epstein. Stormy, which tells me Stormy Daniels perhaps. Russian collusion story. Backstabbing. Real view of politics. High ratings. Immigration. Fitness. Why so divisive? Kim Jong-un. What next? Seems cutting edge but controlled. To get undecided, the undecided, to this side. Meaning, those who are undecided, I don't know if I should vote for Trump. I'm definitely not voting for Biden. I don't know what I should do. I'm on the fence. I'm on the sidelines. That. To get the undecided to this side, to Trump's side. So they're going to have this conversation. And who is that person over there? Trump says he's interested in debate hosted by Joe Rogan. Posted yesterday. Donald Trump. I do. On my podcast with Joe Rogan, he offered to moderate a debate between Joe Biden and real Donald Trump. It would be for 4 hours with no live audience. Just the two candidates, cameras, and their vision of how to move this country forward. Who wants this? Trump. I do. Me. Now, let's go back to the remote viewing session. I only seem to see 2 people here. That would imply Trump and Joe Rogan, not sleepy Joe Biden. Just a little FYI. Top stories. Again, Trump jumps on offer to have Joe Rogan moderate debate. Trump says he wants 4-hour debate moderated by Joe Rogan. And I think I was leaked this information in advance of everyone else from Dick Allgire and the boys. I was trying to look through my old emails. I'm like, well, did he tell me on the phone? Did I get an email? And I think he even said they think it was Joe Rogan. Like in advance, we think it's gonna be on the Joe Rogan show. I think he might have told me this on the phone a little while back. We were just chatting briefly. So, cause I just went through some emails. I'm like, well, I don't really see it there. But Joe Rogan, it has come out. That is just incredible. That these remote viewers, and in particular, this time it's Dick. You know, I tend to show a lot of Dick Allgire stuff, just for whatever reason, his seems to really come out and punch you in the face a lot of times. Of like, whoa, you know, like he says, when I'm on, I'm on. And on that note, I'm going to reread something that he sent me a long time ago. Those interested in my treasure hunting stuff. It was back in 2018. November 28th, this email came in. And I was out in New Mexico. Not necessarily treasure hunting at the time, yet my friend who lives out there was treasure hunting, has been doing it for 20 years, has never found anything, but he knows there's stuff out there. Just, man, if I could just figure out where to get in, you know, dig down or whatever. So I take my drone out there to go look at a couple of spots, more like 3 spots, that he had, that he just couldn't figure out. It's too steep, it's too dangerous, I don't know how the hell to get up there. But you have a drone, can you bring it? Yeah, of course. So I droned this one particular area that really interests me the most. But we did drone some other areas too. But before I left to go on that trip, I thought, and I reached out to Ed at Crypto Viewing, because he's the one that will task the remote viewers with stuff, so that it's always blind. They don't know what he's gonna. They never know what he's gonna give them. And I thought, man, I wonder if I could have like Dick Allgire remote view this for me. Like, is there treasure in this mountain? And like, can you draw, or can you give me an idea where it might be? And I thought, well, wait a minute. I don't even know where I'm going yet. For sure, there's a couple of mountain ranges out there. I'm not sure if we're going to both. One of them, are we even going to be up in the mountains? Are we going to be down below the mountains? I really didn't know. So I thought, I'm not wasting a remote viewing session right now. So I said, Ed, let's just hold off. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to call Dick. I'm just I'll get back to you when I get back, about this target. So we never did anything with it. So while I'm out there, and again, I didn't tell anybody besides my wife, really, of course, because I'm going away for a few days. And I get this email with Ed and another person on the email, CC'd. And many of you know this one, but some of y'all new people, this is just may fascinate you, so I want to read it again. Email. Subject, RV work, meaning remote viewing work. From Dick Allgire. This just blows my mind every time I think about this. I know somebody wants me to work a remote viewing target. I haven't been formally tasked yet, meaning I wasn't given a target ID, but I did a freeform S5 ERV session today. And again, this was back on November 2018. It was both interesting and disturbing. You have to understand that when in this state, images swim into focus and ideas form, but I don't get a logical, chronological sense of any story. Much of it seems disjointed. I arrive on target looking at water, and I was in motion as if on a boat or a ship of some kind. Now let me interject and say, we were not on water, but there was a very sizable body of water right next to the mountain, and you can see it almost anywhere from the mountain, really. My first thought was, Jay Snip needs to wear his hat and put on some sunscreen. I sensed one of those tan soft sun hats with the floppy brim all the way around and a cord that you pull up under your chin. Now let me interject again. That's my go-to sun hat out here in Florida. So this old bald head you see right here doesn't get burned, because it will burn in fairly quickly. I'm here to tell you. So will my face and neck and anything that sun can hit will burn. I brought that hat with me out there, and I was wearing that hat. And not only that, when I was in one of the convenience stores, they had some hats similar, but the brim wasn't so floppy. It was a little more thick, like a sturdy, and I think it was a camo. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna buy that. So I bought a second hat while I was out there, but whatever. I brought the go-to sun hat, FYI. And it is exactly tan with the floppy brim that goes all the way around with the cord around the neck. So he continues, I saw a debris field, things scattered and strewn about in a brown surface that could have been mud, silt, or sediment. I couldn't determine what any of these objects were. They seemed broken and worn, but I had a sense they were man-made objects and very old. Pieces of things settled in the silt with angles protruding, lumps of things. At one point I saw a large container, like a box or chest. Think old wood, rotting metal hinges and clasps. And I saw gold coins. Lots of gold coins. Could have been other things like chains or crucifixes, but mostly my attention was drawn to the coins. As I tried to consciously analyze this, the attempt at logical thought bumped me off target. I was startled to find myself in the here and now place where I was conducting the session. I came to and made a few notes and sketches. I then settled back into theta awareness. And theta, you talking about cryptos? No. Theta is a state of mind, state of awareness as you get closer to the sleep state, I think. He explained it. Funny name, isn't it? Whatever. I settled back into theta awareness, and I again saw round shapes that I took to be coins, but they lacked the same brilliance. These were grayish in color, and I got a sense that they were embedded in sediment or caked with silt and mud. These were not in a container. They seemed more spread out and strewn about. Is this underwater or under sediment? As I attempted to shift my focus and broaden survey of this place, I started seeing human forms in various positions, arms askew, bent, or curled up, lumps of pieces of bodies. These were the same grayish-brownish color, reminding me of human forms encased at Pompeii. It was like I was seeing the last agonizing moments of many people who died in violent ways, and their bodies were left in place. I saw decomposing bodies and partial skeletons. I had a sense of this being very old, historic, and it all created a very bad feeling of unease. Violence, suffering, death. I saw color images of what seemed to be seals or crests or emblems. Bold colors in red and black. A flag of vivid red and green with something gold intertwined. Different shapes and banners, red and gold with a seal or emblem. A flag of yellow and white with a complex golden seal. Accents of red. I can try to sketch these. They came to me at bunches like patchwork, but I sensed they represented countries, organizations, or orders. Now I'll tell you, interjecting again, he sent me the color sketches, and I went and searched for 16th and 17th century flags to get an idea. And I'm telling you, I found all of them. Vatican City, Spain, shocker, Portugal, and Mexico, basically. The following ideas came to me, he says. The owners want their shit back. It is treasure, but it is linked to suffering, repression, and death. This probably is cursed. If I found this, I would not take it. If I did take it, I would donate 90% to some orphanages and have the rest blessed or do an exorcism on it. Can you do an exorcism on an object? He asks. This feels like a dark, forbidden, historical target. If any of this is interesting to anyone, I can make some sketches and do a video. The appropriate soundtrack would be something along the lines of Chevalier de Sangreal. So that was pretty damn interesting. When I read that, thinking I'm never coming back to this place again, I just came out here. It was really cool up in the mountains. It was a lot of fun. I drone some stuff. It's interesting, but I don't know what else to do with it. And then I received that email while I was out there. Pretty much in the last day I was out there. And I'm going, oh my God. There really is, now that he gave me that, there really is stuff here. How the hell would he know what I was doing and what I was wearing, basically, and all that? Like, there's no way. So I'm going to share with you. I've done this before. The actual session they did, because after he gave us that information, I wanted an official remote viewing done at that point. Like, oh my God, like, guys, help me find this. Let's do a target ID and give it to them. What do they see what they come up with? Excuse me. So I'm going to share the screen here, and this was the target that was done in January of 2019. And we were actually heading out there around that time. Sometime, I think it was late January. But I got this early January. Unfortunately, it didn't help me figure out where to go at the time. But I've now come to realize where we are with my friend's private property site and this other site that Dick saw. I at first thought maybe they were the same place. It's not. Two separate ones. We're working. There's two separate ones here. Because I sent Dick some drone footage later on of this mountainside, because I'm like, well, here's where we're digging. He goes, it doesn't look like it to me. He goes, that's not what I saw. The outside was like a ravine. So I sent him drone footage of the whole side of the mountain. He goes, that's it right there. That's what I saw. And I'm like, well, I've never been down there. But I went ahead and flew the drone over and got a little closer look. Nothing stands out to me, by the way, at this time for that one. But he says, that's the ravine. I know it. That's it. So I'm like, okay, that'll be one for a later date. Having said that, what I'm about to read you, I believe, is the ravine site, along with the ravine site being the one I just read you as well, that he initially gave me in 2018. I believe it's the same exact thing. Even though I was hoping, like, oh, is it the site we're digging at? Nope, it's not. Because there is no ravine like that over there at all. So, let's check this out together, shall we? And this was the target ID. So this is the start of the J-Snip quest for the Golden Bounty hidden somewhere out there in the desert. This is what we tasked the team with, and Dick's session is attached. The rest of the team to come. We'll post the remainder later today. Crazy stuff. Don't show this to Spielberg. He might have a crazy idea and bring old Indy back for another go. I think there's a whiteboard session to accompany this. We'll have more later today. So, there's one of the flags. And again, he's just doing sketches. And just with this, I was able to find what I was looking for. 16th, 17th century flags. So, land, rocky bluff, wide vistas, no buildings, wide open, dry, mild climate, birds, insects, smell of juniper, pinon pine, sage. That is exactly what is in these mountains. Individual 1 surveys land, looks similar to Roswell, meaning Roswell, New Mexico, of course. Person from behind looks out over broad land. That person's me, by the way. Underground vault. Smells musty, earthly, decay. Complex, hidden, still, timeless. Decoy chamber. No value. There's a few things in there, though, apparently. Another decoy chamber. Some value. And then finally, the third one. If these didn't run you off thinking you found whatever was there, there's actually a third one. Old, old, old. Bones, skulls, skeletons. This is hidden. There's the treasure box. There's the bodies all over the place. Life of Human 1. There he is. Don't you worry, child. Let's see how I look over there. J-Snip's got a plan for you. Does it look like me? Looks like me with a slight sloth from Goonies look. Hey, you guys. Male, 40s, sunscreen, seeking, impatient, driven, wear your hat, no patience, wants to make this happen now. Modern, current time. Life of Human 2. Helmet. Small, raspy voice. Dark eyes, dark heart. He's got some headgear. Again, helmet. Helmet turned up. Speaks. Flowery, I guess. Smells bad. Carries one of the flags. Commands men. Rapes women. Brutal. Vicious. Mean. Killer. Thief. I figured out who this guy was. We'll get to that in a minute. Life Human 2 of the same guy. Haughty, arrogant. In a time when his superiors are so far away, distance, communication all but impossible. He feels in charge. No accountability. No one will ever know of my actions or his actions and crimes. He subjugated people, cruel, torment. Punish, kill, enslave, steal, retribution. Phonics of the guy's name, Don, Korean for Mongo or something. Don Quixote, whatever. Don Juan, Don Oro. So I just started searching, and I found Don Juan Onati, who was sent by the King of Spain in 1592, I believe, and caused so much trouble with the natives that the king had to pull him out of there and said, "You're never ever going back there. You've caused so much trouble. And I'm stripping you of all your titles." And then I read that later on, after the king died, the new king took over. He gave the guy his titles back, but said, you're never going back. You just were too much trouble. Life of Human 3. Leathery face, feathers, head covering, long hair in back, bald in the front. Very powerful presence. Amulets, spirit world power. Powerful, spiritual, shaman, indigenous, magical powers, uses herbs, burns things, powders, charms, sacred stones, little bags of bone dust, things hold power. He made one of the curses. Decoy chamber. There's a fake hidden chamber with decoy artifacts that are worthless. Metal that is not shiny, it's dull, corroded, meant to be found, but not too easy. Bones and skulls, gray in color, meant to be found, thrown off the trail. Next level, decoy chamber. Has some value. Underground, more bones, skulls, warning symbols, text in old language, Roman or Latin, formal Spanish, he says. Some gold, some jewels. Again, has some value, right? And then the main trove, the third one. Skull, bones, gold, gold nuggets, gold dust, some coins, figurines of gold, jewelry, leather pouches with bluish-green gemstones, decaying wood chest, metal clasps, hinges, old leather pouch, filled, colorful gems, stones, flags, seals, and emblems, indigenous symbol, turtle, animal-like turtle, whatever that is. And there's the 4 flags. Again, I was able to find all of them. 16th and 17th century flags, basically. Conquerors, slaughter, indigenous, overpowered. Many die. Problems with this hidden treasure. Ownership. It belongs to those who own the flags. Death and suffering. The torment, torture, human suffering has rubbed off, become embedded in the objects. The shaman put a curse on it. The curse has been reinforced and kept active through generations. He told the descendants to keep it living, give it power. It is haunted by souls of guardians who gave their lives to hide it. This has very, very bad energy on many levels. The conquerors killed many indigenous to get to the treasure. The indigenous rose up and fought back and killed some of the conquerors. The conquerors, in turn, punished the indigenous brutally. The conquerors hid the loot, but the indigenous knew where and put decoys. Some died hiding it. They put curses on it. This has a long trail of bodies and bad spirits. I don't know the indigenous terminology, but in Hawaiian it would be kapu. They put a symbol meaning forbidden, don't touch, don't enter here. This place has a strong kapu. Be very careful. I would not go near it and have concerns about even remote viewing it. It felt guarded by dead spirits who projected death, torment, and suffering as a repellent. Now, I'm here to tell you, Dick had told me one time he was doing a remote, or he was going to this massage lady that I guess she could just put him out to where he can go off into dreamland. And when she was doing that, a freaking curtain rod flew off the wall. And he said he knew it was this guy, this shaman, that spirit. He goes, it was him. So I think that's why he says I even have concerns about even remote viewing this thing. So that is the power of remote viewing. When these guys are on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. Sorry, we tried. Here's what we got. But a lot of times when they're on, they know they're on too. So they can kind of come out and say, you know, guys, I think I was on this one. Now here's what I have to say about this target, you know. So for me to come up with what I just showed you, on my very first trip out there, thinking I'll never come back here. It was fun, it was cool, but I don't have time to be coming out here, mess around in the mountains. This is like looking for a needle in a haystack. And then I got some more psychic help from Sherry Michelle. Oh, that one site your friend has, yeah. Picture number 6, that's the one. Picture number 6. So I looked at picture 6. Let's see if we can figure out how to get over there. So someone was knocking on the door. Knock, knock, knocking on J Snip's door. Hey, 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 yeah. There's Evelyn to pick up the box. Okay. Don't need to watch that anymore. Alright. Yeah, so I've seen and witnessed the power of remote viewing firsthand. And this isn't the first time. I've had other targets out there that they've remote viewed for me. And I've also seen their work that have nothing to do for me with pretty amazing accuracy. So, you could go check out their channel on YouTube, Crypto Viewing, for more information on the work they do. And sign up to their site if you want. On that note, take it easy.